My name is Josh Bushong. I'm Winter Canola Extension Specialist for OSU. Been working with canola since we started in the state about 8 years ago. Some of the first trials we put out, I was there to harvest them. Last year, I replaced Keith Sanders. He was the extension specialist. He's now with Producers Cooperative Oil Mill in Oklahoma City. So I went from doing the research now to extension to help y'all any way I can. Basically, I come out from the very beginning, help you set your drills, calibrating them, setting your depth, everything else, scouting fields. Just call me up, asking general recommendations, or if you have any questions throughout the growing season. Basically, I'm here to help you grow the crop. A lot of guys, this is a new crop for them, so they have a bunch of questions. Don't exactly know what to do or when to do it, or what to look for, how to look for it. So there's a bunch of questions in growing a new crop, obviously, and basically that's why I'm here to help you. We coined the project Canola. We started it back in '05, I believe, trying to get growers to grow canola. We helped them early on. We supplied some seed and herbicide just to try to grow acres. Now most of our efforts are through extension, like me. We're still doing plenty of research, working greatly with the industry, trying to see what other advancements we can get. We still have plenty of questions to answer. Don't completely know the crop all the way. Obviously, we've only been growing it for 8 years. There's still stuff coming up, just like this year with the false chinch bugs. We're still looking at other aspects of the growing canola. So it's still a learning curve for everyone. Today I'm going to talk about fertility. Always get the question on what's my recommendations on fertility. Basically, it also always goes back to getting a good soil sample. Some guys are using tissue samples, either late fall, early spring, or pre-bolt, or trying to get some tweak their soil recommendations. Basically, it's not a standalone recommendation. You base it off your soil sample on whatever it says was there. Soils are another tool to gauge how much you need to apply. It goes back and getting that 0 to 6 inch topsoil sample. Very beneficial to know what you have, what your pH is. Also collecting a 6 to 18 inch subsoil sample. Canola does have a taproot. If you can get down there and mine stuff that the wheat hasn't been able to past however many years, it'll go down and look for it. So your phosphorus, potassium, nitrogen, sulfur, boron, usually are at adequate levels in the subsoil. Like I said, the wheat usually doesn't mine that far down. pH, oftentimes you have pH problems in your topsoil, maybe 3-4 inches. If you start to get lower in the subsoil, especially when you have higher clay contents in most Oklahoma soils, you usually don't have a pH problem. So once that root grows down into that layer, you start to see the benefits from it. Like I said, it all starts with the soil sample. Almost always a cost saver, whether it be how much you need to apply, if you need to apply it, or whether you don't need to apply anything at all. Either way, it's a cost saver. When you're taking a sample, you want to get at least 20 quarters per sample. Some guys get one sample per field. Some try to zone it out, maybe by soil texture, or just different areas in the field that you know produce differently. So trying to get a sample the best you can. I like to at least get one every year, just because you don't know what's there. Just like this year, we've had a drought. Obviously, a bunch of your top dress fertilizer will probably still be there. At least one per year, just to let you know what you're at. And if you did need a line, and you lined last year, see where you are this year, see if you're at adequate level still, or if you need to apply more. So just a good rule, at least do once a year. Best practice, get one before you do your pre-plant fertilizer, and one before you top dress. They're pretty cheap tool to use. Obviously, it answers a bunch of questions for you. Like I said, canola has a taproot, but if you can't utilize that taproot in a hard pan, it's just like your wheat. It's going to use whatever's in that topsoil. So getting that hard pan busted with a ripper. If you're going to no-till, try to rip it before you go into no-till, or do a tillage operation every now and then, just to alleviate that. It does pretty good on mild hard pans, and if we have a year with adequate moisture, it usually will eventually find its way and snake through the hard pan and bust it up as it grows. But this year, as dry as we've been, a bunch of these canola plants weren't able to bust through that hard pan. So you'll know it once you get a soil sample. You only go down a few inches, or you can push canola a foot down on the ground without any pressure. So